I want the trip thing to end. I always want Serena out of relationships. Because they're always terrible. Yeah. It's another Aaron. It's another Gabriel. So
Serena needs to be single and go to therapy.
Yes. My God, everyone on this show needs therapy, but Serena.
Hey, Upper East Siders and all you scandal-loving listeners out there. You just tuned into the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, where the coffee is strong, the waffles are fresh, and the gossip is hotter than ever. My name is Leif, and I'm your seasoned Gossip Girl veteran.
And I'm Steve, the newbie, the greenhorn, I don't know, Leif, what are we calling me now? We're into season 3.
Well, I think at this point the window for our threesome has passed because we're no longer strangers.
Guess that depends on the third then, doesn't it?
True.
So here's the deal, folks. Leif has been watching Gossip Girl since it first aired, and I'm tuning in for the very first time. And together, we're your dynamic duo, bringing you all the drama, romance, and sometimes questionable fashion choices of this iconic 2007 series.
That's right. Bring your magnifying glasses because each week we're dissecting every juicy detail of the show, one episode at a time. We'll connect the dots, uncover those sneaky little Easter eggs, and of course serve up some piping hot behind-the-scenes tea. And expect some iconic moments from fandom too, because what's a deep dive without a little drama?
And since we are all about inclusivity here at the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, there is always a seat for you at the Non-Judging Breakfast table. So go ahead and grab your mimosa, your cup of coffee, or go ahead and get some of Chuck's special medicine, and let's get this thing going.
So I have binged season 5 of You.
Okay. All right.
In a single day.
Was it good? Did you do it for the pod, or was it good?
Well, I mean, I was going to watch it no matter what, and I wanted to avoid spoilers. That's the biggest reason why I binged it that way. Overall, I thought it was good. I do have, of course, some issues with it, as you know, you might expect.
Wait, Leif taking issue with?
It got a little too preachy. It took what was like subtext for the entire series and turned it into a giant marquee.
Oh, yeah, that.
And
here's the lesson I'm trying to teach you, folks.
And unfortunately, the people they were going for, like they were really trying to hammer it home, still didn't get the lesson.
They never do, Leif. I've spent a lot of years in education. They never do.
So that happened. I really hope Penn gets some Emmy buzz for this because his performance, aside from the story or anything, was amazing.
Yeah.
He knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. Was You nominated before? I feel like it has nominations.
Possibly. I'm not sure. I don't really follow that stuff too much.
I don't either.
Another thing, when I was taking notes, I realized something that we never really addressed. The Max background from Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
It's the season 6 DVD cover. There's someone in the middle of that photo.
Who I don't know. Yeah. Oh, I do know that I don't know someone who's like on that. Because I remember a long time ago seeing that and being like, oh yeah, there's all of the. That's not Jenny.
Wow, Jenny changed. Second Jenny.
One of the greatest moments, and to me, one of the greatest little tiny TV moments was when first Becky made a cameo as Becky on Roseanne again, or she came back. I guess she came back as Becky for the last few seasons. And when she first walked in, Roseanne said, "Where have you been?" And it just landed perfectly. No shade to Sarah Chalk, though. I prefer Sarah Chalk personally in everything she's done. I love Sarah Chalk.
We are here to talk about Gossip Girl today, Season 3, Episode 10, The Last Days of the Disco Stick.
Yes, another Season 10, or another Episode 10, and as you pointed out to me in Season 1, that tends to be a Dan Serena thing. Mm-hmm. That And we also established last year that it doesn't mean Dan and Serena. It just means that Dan and Serena have big episodes. Yeah. And they do. And I thought Dan's portion of the episode was better, but I didn't not like a lot of the stuff that happened with Serena. Mm. But it was a really good Dan Serena focal point, I felt.
And the original air date was November 16th, 2009, which was actually less than a month after the release of the single Bad Romance.
Oh, was it that soon? So they really got Gaga.
Yeah, like at the height of her thing.
Yeah. I fucking love that song.
Yeah, 2008, her first studio album came out, The Fame, but Bad Romance wasn't originally on there, but it was on the re-release, which was labeled as The Fame Monster.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But the single for Bad Romance came out in October of 2009, less than a month.
What's funny is that I actually always thought, I don't follow Gaga that closely. I really like a lot of her songs, but I'm not like a fan. I actually cover Bad Romance. I cover Bad Romance as a medley with Psycho Killer because they're essentially the same chords. It's the same song when it comes to chord structure.
The episode title was based on the movie The Last Days of Disco.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I've heard of the movie.
I watched it. It was nothing special. Kate Beckinsale and Chloe Sevigny were the stars.
Isn't it about them kind of falling apart as disco falls apart?
Sort of. I mean, like they're barely friends. They're just kind of like casual friends, anyways. But then they beginning of the movie, they become roommates, and by the end, they kind of like fall out.
Yeah.
And but nothing too exciting.
No groundbreaking cinema.
So there's a lot of people you would recognize in it. I guess the male lead would probably be I forget the actor's name, but he plays Digger in Gilmore Girls.
Okay, I wouldn't know that because
he was Lorelai's love interest for one season.
Okay.
And also Richard's partner.
Oh.
The episode was written by Layla Gerstein. She last wrote Season 3, Episode 5, Rufus Getting Married, and also wrote Season 2, Episode 22, Southern Gentlemen Prefer Blondes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, credits.
Directed by Tony Warmby. Previously has done Victor Victrola, Episode 7 in Season 1. Also in Season 1, Episode 12, School Lies, which was the pool party episode.
Right. That's the first time we saw Penelope and Hazel.
Which also, like, especially the opening scene, I love the direction on that opening scene. With the opening in the pool party.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really cool shot scene.
Yeah.
He also did Woman on the Verge, Chuck in Real Life, and In the Realm of the Basses.
Yeah, I feel like they're well-directed episodes for the most part. I feel like Woman on the Verge was a shittier episode, but I also feel like it was directed as well as he can do. You can only work with what you got. Mm-hmm. I really liked, like you said, School Eyes. I really liked Victor Victrola. I thought that was such a great episode and such a pinnacle episode, you know?
And well-directed, too.
Really well-directed, especially the Chuck. The performance he got out of Ed in that was so good.
Yeah, the in media res at the beginning of the episode, too.
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and give us that Vulture recap?
All right. Even someone without Blair Waldorf's unerring nose for sexual tension would have caught a whiff of the mammalian scent in the air on Gossip Girl last night. Pheromones course through the characters' bodies like so many high-grade drugs transported from Holland by a disaffected diplomat's son. The previous episode's menage, we learned, has changed the chemistry of the relationship between Dan, Vanessa, and Olivia, after Olivia suspects Dan and Vanessa's feelings for each other go beyond friendship, which Dan awkwardly confirms when, during the gang's ridiculous performance of Snow White, he briefly forgets he is a man who just performed a white rap while dressed as a hipster elf and plants a tender yet masculine kiss on his best lady friend. Meanwhile, Jenny is attracted to trouble like a dog to begging strips, and Serena is practically in heat over boyish, ruddy-cheeked Trip Vanderbilt. After listening to several hours of her helpless yowls, Nate is at last forced to drug and almost physically restrain her from acting on it. Alas, she breaks free to the expected results. That one probably needs to be spayed.
That all happened.
That all happened. Masculine kiss.
Act 1 begins, as usual, with a Gossip Girl monologue.
But I want to pause here because it's more than just a monologue, and I know we're going to get to it with that shot. The shot that she's talking over. Go ahead.
As a famed literary liar once told Oprah, memory is subjective. Memories can be embellished or denied. But as James Frey knows all too well, the truth always comes out. Dan is having the best day of his life, walking down the street, high-fiving strangers, and reminiscing about the threesome.
It's so great. High-fiving the stranger and just like on top of the world, Dan. And I just fucking loved it. Like none of the fallout has happened yet. Everything has been normal for him so far. So for him, he's just a dude that had a threesome.
Yeah, he hasn't seen Vanessa at all. He's just been hanging out with his girlfriend. It seems like she's fine with it.
Yeah. Such the directing. Again, the opening shot.
Yeah.
The square, I forget what it's called when you have the tiles like that. Which was also very, it was so good.
Mm-hmm. Serena is leaving repeated voicemails for Blair saying what she saw with Serena and Trip wasn't what Blair thought it was.
Great. Of course not, Serena. Of course it wasn't.
Yeah. No.
No, what you saw when you saw me drooling over this guy that I was talking really close to, that's not what we were doing.
Lingering touches meant nothing at all.
Nothing at all.
Blair ignores Serena's call as she and Chuck stroll through the park. Blair and Chuck both agree that Blair has a keen nose for sexual attention. Blair lays out her plans to impress the Tish kids. Chuck, on the other hand, will be showing a diplomat's son around New York in an effort to build his European clientele.
I don't speak with liars and Lewinskis, which Monica gets such a bad rap. I've always, for years, I've felt really bad for her because you're an intern working for the president. Yeah, like there's a serious power dynamic here. And America like slut shamed her for something that the most powerful man in the world did. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Well, not surprising.
No.
But at least she got millions of dollars out of it.
She did. She's funny as shit, too. Like, I've seen her do more recent interviews, like past 5 years. And she's really funny, too.
Dan tells Nate about the threesome, expecting a pat on the back. However, Nate points out that the third person should always be a stranger. Dan, though, is insistent that he and Vanessa can still be friends. Just then, Vanessa walks up and she and Dan awkwardly greet each other before agreeing on a friend's date for tonight.
2 girls, 4 boobs, 1 Dan Humphrey.
How awesome is that?
How awesome is that? Nate's reaction. I've been to Europe. My best friend is Chuck Bass.
I know things.
I know things. Everyone knows the third is supposed to be a stranger. I loved, this was also, again, Nate got to be funny, and when Chase gets to be funny, that's my favorite Nate stuff. Mm-hmm. And I really thought that this was a great Nate episode.
Yeah.
And also, I had these as 2 separate things, but we've had this tradition for years. Let's go tonight. If you've had this tradition for years, wouldn't you be scoping out tickets for like, wouldn't you have your tickets already?
I guess he probably plays in New York quite a bit. Is the impression I got. And like, yeah, they whenever
just pop down when they want.
Whenever they go see Morrissey, they go together.
Yeah. But still.
It was definitely forced.
It was, yeah. I felt like they could find a better tradition. Banging a third. Nope, that's not really a tradition yet.
Blair finds the Tisch students at the NYU cafe. Despite her best efforts to impress them, the theater kids clearly look down on Blair.
The Tisch kids suck so bad. And the thing is, as a high school and college theater kid, yeah, yep. Like, I can imagine just the way regular high school theater kids are. I'm sure it's not totally accurate, but the mental image of the Tisch kids being regular theater kids at a 10 just warmed my heart. I loved the way they portrayed them.
I mentioned in an earlier episode how at a certain point in the season they start taking some shots at Harvey Weinstein. Now, his name is never directly referenced, but I gotta, like, they bet. You know who, like, they mentioned Willow Weinstein.
Yeah, they said her last name.
You know who she's with. So it's assumed that she's like a daughter or a niece. Or
yeah,
something.
I totally assumed that she was a relative of Harvey.
Yeah. So she's gonna be a recurring character.
Oh, okay.
And Paul is as well.
Well, I kind of figured Paul at least was going to have a few episodes because he and Vanessa were chumming up at the end.
Dan and Olivia are walking together talking about their respective futures. Dan tells Olivia about the date with Vanessa. Olivia hesitates for half a second before giving her consent to the outing.
I don't think Olivia is okay with it.
No. Dan's oblivious.
Dan is oblivious.
What could possibly go wrong in Dan's mind?
Yeah.
At the penthouse, Lily and Jenny are trying to find Jenny a date for a gala. Rufus has a spit take when he hears one of the guys gave 6 girls gonorrhea of the throat. Chuck comes to drop something off for Lily with an ambassador's son in tow. Lily suggests that Jenny should show him around, and when Jenny gets a look at those European cheekbones, she is one eager beaver.
That spit take. Rufus's spit take was fantastic. It just flowed so well. I thought that.
I mean, even if you never heard of gonorrhea of the throat, he's a rock star. He's heard of gonorrhea.
You know what gonorrhea is.
You can put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, it's gonorrhea in the throat, Rufus. My first pass, I was like, Lily finding a date for Jenny for this thing seems weird. And then when I really thought about it, it's like, no, this makes perfect sense. That Lily is really kind of mentoring Jenny as queen now.
Yeah.
That, oh yeah, I understand. There's a gala, you need a date. I'll help you out. Like, of course, I know everybody in the fucking city.
Well, it's also, I think it's implied it's like a family outing too. It's a gala the family's going to, and she needs an appropriate date for a family outing.
Yes, but I think it's a little bit of both, though. I think because we've seen Lily really kind of help Jenny be queen at times. You know, what can this diplomat's son do? I mean,
Blair tracks down Olivia in the dorm hallway to ask for advice on winning over superficial actors. Olivia shows she can play the game when she immediately forms a plan to keep Dan and Vanessa apart.
Yep. Now we have Olivia's baby's first scheme, right? Well, I guess not really. I guess she kind of schemed earlier on when she acted like an asshole. But this is like her first real big scheme.
At Tripp's office, he and Serena flirt some more. They get awfully close to kissing when they are interrupted by Maureen. Maureen suggests that Serena be the one to help Tripp pack the home office. Gossip Girl brings us to the first act break with this advice. Don't forget yourself, Congressman. Your marriage could wind up in a million little pieces.
Tripp can't not be creepy. When Serena walks in and he gives her this look of like, yeah.
He's got those crazy eyes.
Yeah, he does. Also, Serena, you don't need, just because Maureen suggested this, you don't need to go to his house and help him.
Also, if this office stuff is so sensitive, can't he just pack it himself? It's one office. Seriously.
Yeah.
Be an adult.
Yeah.
And also, I know you've mentioned in the past you watch with closed captions on. Have you noticed that, within the episode's consistent, But from episode to episode, sometimes they do Trip with 2 P's and sometimes with 1 P.
I did not notice that. I've only noticed the 2 P's. So it's funny because all my notes, I always write down Trip with 2 P's because that's how I've noticed it. And then I saw that you had it somewhere, or no, it was the Vulture Report had it as 1, and that's what made me think of that. So I have noticed it with Lily, with having 1 L or 2 in Lily. I think now it's consistently 1, but I feel season 1, it was inconsistent in how they spelled her name too. I wonder if that's autocorrect.
No, it's just different people doing the closed captions.
Yeah. I would actually assume that most of the closed captions are AI at this point. Well, I guess probably not then, though.
Act 2. Nate is at the Empire on the phone with his mother. Nate is telling her not to forgive the grandfather. Their conversation is interrupted by Serena, who has come by to talk about her and Trip.
Off-cam Ann. And then I think I'm about to get involved with a married man. Hey, I've got advice. Don't. You're the one getting involved here. You don't have to be around this person. You don't have to work for them. You can work elsewhere, or just don't see them for 24 hours and keep working for them here in New York while they're nowhere near you. The I'm about to do this thing is just so fucking dumb. Everything that comes out. I also want to clarify, I do not blame the writing on this because it's so Serena.
Oh, yeah.
It's so fucking Serena. Every dumb fucking thing that comes out of her mouth for the remainder of this episode, it's so Serena. It's written perfectly despite how fucking dumb all of it is.
100%. Vanessa and Olivia are in the dorm room trying to pretend that things aren't awkward since the threesome. Olivia hides how threatened by Dan and Vanessa's history she is and apologizes, saying that she had signed herself and Dan up for cabaret ages ago.
She's avoiding you. That is true. Vanessa, she's like, are you avoiding me? No, of course not. Yes, she is. She's not okay with things.
Well, I mean, they finally got smart and decided to hang out at the loft, instead of hanging out in the little dorm room all the time.
Right. Yeah, his place he has to himself.
Nate is rightfully pointing out that she can't have an affair with Trip. Nate tells her that too many people made sacrifices to get Trip where he is now. He leaves unsaid that he is one of those people.
Is this where he also has the call from Dan?
That
he gets off the phone, or is that later?
I think that's later.
Okay. But still, I really liked, again, this is everything Serena is saying is fucking dumb.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that she and Nate made up, though. It was really good. It's nice to see Nate not being a dick, because Nate really was being a dick for a bit. I understand why and why he was led that way. Again, I don't think Nate does anything because Nate wants to. I think Nate just follows the shiny, and if the shiny is Nate being a dick, he's going to be a dick. And I really like seeing this Nate again, and I really like them making up.
Jenny is with the diplomat's son, who we learn is named Damien Dalgard. Walking in the park, Jenny is at first giddy with glee when the Chapin mean girls see her with a hot older guy, but is quickly mortified when Damien rents a toy sailboat to play with.
I think that one of those things where Jenny lacks coolness, because the whole thing is she always has to be cool. But the number one rule of being cool is whatever you're doing, you fucking own it.
Yeah.
And so when you're sitting there like, oh my God, this guy I'm with is playing with a boat, it makes you look like an idiot. And it makes you look like you're with someone who's an idiot. But if you're like, yeah, we're fucking playing with boats, if you're the queen, what you do is cool. Yeah. So yeah, guess what we're doing now? We're playing with fucking boats now. Girls from other school, get your fucking boats.
Also, I didn't see any other kids there.
It was all adults playing with the boats. It was like all grown men. All single dads who have their weekend without the kids. Good. I like to go sail the boats when the kids aren't here because they just get in the way and ruin the boats. No, I'm controlling the boat now, son.
We saw Rufus down there. Rufus in the background.
Just so relaxed.
Dan and Olivia are meeting with the Tisch students at the cafe. Dan is then shocked to find out that Blair is part of the team. Dan is starting to wonder why he had to cancel his plans with Vanessa to direct a Snow White Lady Gaga musical starring Blair Waldorf. Olivia attempts to smooth things over by saying she already talked to Vanessa and that things are fine.
And this is happening like tonight, right? Is it tonight or tomorrow that the theater thing is?
I feel like they had one rehearsal.
Yeah, I feel like they had one night. But like, Dan just wrote a musical in a day.
Yes.
And not only did... Okay, yeah, I'll get to that.
And in the show's universe, it's also a good musical.
Yeah, it's really good. And yeah, Olivia...
It impressed the Tisch students.
Yes. Yeah. That he wrote overnight. But not even, because he had to because they rehearse it that day, too.
Yeah.
And Olivia is so bad at scheming.
Back at the park, Jenny is leaving a voicemail for Chuck complaining about the boring Belgian. However, Damien returns with a different sailboat and points out that the boats were just cover for a drug deal.
Ooh.
So sexy.
Yeah, he's a bad, bad boy, Jenny.
With daddy issues.
Yeah.
They made sure to slip that in.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Dan calls Nate to ask advice on his situation. Nate tells Dan that he needs to convince Olivia that Vanessa and him are just friends.
Nate being everybody's therapist in this episode is so cute. I loved this. I loved Nate and Dan and Nate giving him advice and coming in and saying to Serena yeah, Dan's got girl trouble. And
Yeah, we immediately transition to Nate giving advice to Serena on the trip situation. Nate is definitely giving Dr. Drew this episode. Ask Nate to point out the capital of New York on a map, and he probably becomes Nate Fused. But ask him to navigate the treacherous waters of love triangles and affairs with married people, and it'll be smooth sailing.
Yeah, I mean, he's the Stephen Hawking of illicit affairs. And
with Nate's coaching, Serena calls Tripp to tell him that she won't be coming over. Nate promises to keep Serena from making a mistake until Tripp leaves for Washington.
He's such a fucking creep. I had a feeling you'd be saying that. Oh, I can't bang a teenager in my office while I'm married before I know my wife sucks.
Tripp's maid informs him that Ann Archibald is at the house to see him.
Off-cam Ann again.
Couldn't afford her SAG rate.
Couldn't.
Those damn unions. Dan goes to Vanessa's dorm room to apologize about Morrissey and asks her to help with the cabaret. Dan innocently lets slip that Olivia only signed them up for the cabaret this morning and not weeks ago like she told Vanessa.
Now, Dan wrote this play in an hour, right? And Blair gets the script, opens it, and says, "Wow, this isn't bad." She just osmosis read the script.
That hasn't happened yet, but
not
yes.
even. I thought that was right there.
This is where Dan goes to Vanessa's.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry.
So he recruits Vanessa, and he lets slip that he had no reason to hide it, but he lets slip that Olivia only signed him up this morning.
Yeah, to him it was not an issue because
Now at the cafe, Dan gives Olivia, Blair, and the minions their scripts while explaining their adapted roles. He also introduces the new director, Vanessa. Neither Blair nor Olivia are happy about this last bit.
So, again, Dan writes this in an hour. Blair reads it in one round. 6 seconds. And now we have Dan catching the scheme and scheming back with Vanessa, and that tension between Vanessa and Olivia just immediately.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that comes up in the next. So we go to commercial there, and I come back from commercial for Act 3. Olivia, ever the actress, immediately covers for her disappointment. She plays it off as thinking herself stupid for not asking V herself. The ladies take veiled shots at each other. Blair whispers to Dan the equivalent of, "Get your ladies under control, bro."
Yeah, the two of them taking
her
shots.
extremely misogynistic speech about cycles.
Yeah. Oh man. I Blair. It's 2009, Blair. We don't blame women being irritated on their periods. It's men.
But Blair, the way she like slid up behind him, made me laugh.
Blair, again, I really liked just the directing of this entire episode. Blair's role in this episode, going from being the always scheming and the plot is always about her trying to get her way in so many of these episodes, that was sidelined. Like that was a secondary thing to just bring this plot in. And her little popping up moments are just perfect in this episode. I didn't realize that was two separate scenes. It blended for me. I guess I looked down to take a note or something. And
Damien is asking Jenny about her life, and it seems like Jenny is already bored with being queen. Damien offers to help her spice up her life by coming to his drug pickup later.
Refill my boat sounds sexual. Especially how he says it. He's like, I'm going to meet someone else later who's going to refill my boat.
Nate and Serena are having a little friends date of their own by the same pond as before. Nate, ever the gentleman, wipes some gelato from Serena's upper lip and stops Serena from answering Tripp's call.
I really like Serenate. I really feel... Serenate. I feel like they're going to happen eventually. But I honestly feel like they'd be a really good couple because they're both just fucking Labradors.
See,
if you could just tie them together.
I think they would be a good couple for a bit, but because of their nature of the fact that anytime anyone flirts with them, they're going to flirt back. Eventually, one of them would cheat.
Right. You need to handcuff them together at all times. And then they were the perfect couple. Like, never let them leave each other's side, and they'll be in love with each other forever. But you're right. The second one of them is in the orbit of a handsome person, they're going to immediately sploosh and just go running after the new shiny.
So they're at the same pond. Was Nate picking up some drugs while he was there? Because apparently this is a known spot. I mean, at least that's sort of what I got from the later scene with Chuck, because he mentions, like, when he found out they were at that pond, he knew something was up. He searched their room. So apparently that's like a known drug pickup spot.
That's a really good way. Now, also, is that the same pond where he likes to take Blair? Does he just really like to double up on his, he's just efficient with his time.
Yeah.
I want to take you on a really sweet date. I just need to play with some boats quick.
At the rehearsal, things are starting to unravel as Olivia and Vanessa's shots are becoming less veiled. Everyone quickly figures out that they had a threesome. Blair also points out that the third person is always a stranger. And Gossip Girl has some advice for Dan as well. Uh-oh, playwright. Better whip out your pen. Looks like this cabaret just became a one-man show.
Vanessa was being an asshole. And I feel like Vanessa is not fighting about Dan as much as the fighting about lying to me this morning and lying about this thing that you put together. That was just more my impression, but I still felt like Vanessa was being an asshole and like the boxing her out. But then the other thing about this scene, I don't think you said it yet. Did you talk about the box out?
So that sort of happens here. The episode definitely, I like how it highlights the fact that people remember the same event happening different.
Yes. That Dan, earlier in his imagination of it, with everything being just hot and everything, being the perfect threesome.
Yeah.
And then I really loved the take of him, of her shoving
Olivia
aside. Yeah. It took me to Lizzie McGuire, to the kind of cuts that they would do on that show. And I almost felt like that was an homage to Lizzie McGuire at how slapstick and how quick that cut was.
Possibly. I've never seen that show, so I can't really say. The other thing is on the scene, Yet another person knows that Vanessa is just in love with Dan.
Yeah.
And we move into Act 4. As we return from the commercial, we get interposing scenes of Blair separately blackmailing Olivia and Vanessa. Episode director Tony Warby uses some clever screen cuts to get around the censors.
In the previous scene, Dan says to Blair, "That's fine, I'm going to go talk to them." And Blair goes, "In which order?" And his look of just,
oh shit, I don't know.
Fuck.
Exactly.
Yeah, and Blair's like, "Exactly. Now I have some women to bribe." And when you see her in these fucking interrogation chambers with the lights shining on them and the cut between the two scenes, fucking Blair is amazing in this.
Alternative chick Abrams is literally a star. Nate and Serena are doing shots at the bar while reminiscing about the Shepherd wedding and the events that started it all. Nate steps away to take a call from Tripp, who just learned from Anne that Maureen was responsible for the Hudson Hero scheme.
This was cute. Like Nate and Serena, and it's so funny. Their whole, him talking about the Shepherd wedding, them talking about doing first time being drunk together since then. And then you get this Tripp call. And it's like Nate gets this info and he's like, shit. Like he's spiraling. I've really got to keep these two away from each other. Like this has just gotten turned up a notch.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tripp instantly is ready to just fucking pull the ripcord on this marriage. It's like, man, she did this thing. Wow, now there's no way we could ever be together again. Wow, she got me elected to this office. I don't know if I can ever look at her the same. And I hear the words you're saying, but it sounds like you're making excuses to bang a teenager. It sounds like you're trying to end your marriage because you want to bang a teenager.
Just a little bit. At a nightclub, Damien offers Jenny a chance to leave or go to another table before the drug deal goes down. However, Jenny declines the offer and nervously agrees to stay.
Jenny, you're not cut for this life.
It's exciting. It's exciting.
Jenny, this is dumb, Jenny. You're being dumb. And again, like with the writing of this episode, Jenny is being really dumb in a way that Jenny would be dumb. Like it really captures the flaws of these characters in this episode.
It looks like the cabaret night has begun and we are seeing a glimpse of Will Weinstein's play. Blair assures Dan that Vanessa and Olivia will show up, which they immediately do.
The sexual Little Red Riding Hood is, again, so college theater. It is exactly what college kids would do if they were trying to put on a grown-up version of a fairy tale show.
Yeah.
I loved it. I really loved how it just took me back to being a college kid and being a super cringy theater kid.
This is like kind of the one knock from the directing. The fact Dan's like wondering where Olivia and Vanessa are, but like you can literally see Vanessa walking in the background as he's saying that. So, give a little pause. Give it a moment to breathe.
Yeah.
But I guess they had to get that stupid Rufus joke in about not knowing about gonorrhea.
Yeah. they needed the extra second for the gonorrhea joke. Otherwise, Blair could have taken, a minute to read the script.
Yes. Dan is glad Olivia showed up. Olivia mentions that Blair didn't give her a choice and also admits that it wasn't so much Vanessa that she had been worried about. She was more worried about how Dan looked at Vanessa and kissed her during the threesome. And it sounds like Gossip Girl agrees. Hey, Prince Charming. Looks like it's time for you to look in this enchanted mirror.
Olivia, first of all, this is all your fault. You started this threesome.
Mm-hmm.
Olivia, you're the one who has a problem here. Dan is telling you, I'm not into Vanessa, I'm into you. Now, let's look back at the fact that, yes, there's probably feelings there. There's definitely history there. Do we know if they've banged Vanessa and Dan prior to this?
No, because he was a virgin in season 1.
You're right, with Serena, you're right. But we do know that there was history. Olivia can't accept when he says, no, I'm with you. And no matter what you saw with you kissed her like you never kissed me, you don't know that. And you don't know what that means. And so you're putting all of this stuff on this relationship and making it a problem instead of being like, well, we banged his friend, let's move on. And just let them be friends. Because Dan isn't going after Vanessa right now. Dan's just trying to have his friend still.
And also, yeah, this is like probably my biggest complaint about this episode. And it's probably just because they didn't have Hillary Duff anymore after this. So they had to get her out quick. But like her whole big thing was she was so like into the school, like, you know, getting this time off from, you know, acting to go to school.
Yeah.
And she immediately gives it up because she...
Over a boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could also just break up.
Yeah.
And you could also, if you're worried about rooming with Vanessa, I bet you've got the clout to find a different room too.
Or just rent an off-campus apartment.
Or rent an apartment. Move in with Nate, because apparently you can really get quick to, even though he's...
Well, Nate's living with Chuck.
Oh, Chuck's with, yeah, I forgot. It's funny because when Serena went to Nate, it looked like it reminded me of the apartment that Nate rented for him and Blair last season. That's why I was thinking that.
Act 5 begins. The Lady Gaga Snow White cabaret show is here, and our earbuds are treated to awkward white boy rap and cringe faux pop star singing.
Yeah, Olivia sucked in this play.
Yes.
Could you imagine like being...
Well, Dan sucked too.
Dan sucked too, but Dan's not an actor.
Yeah.
Right? Dan's not trying to be an actor. He's a writer who got put into the role of acting.
Yeah.
And in fact...
It's canon that his acting is bad.
Yes. It is. It was really good acting of Penn Badgley. Yes. It's sort of like singing out of time or singing out of key. It's hard to do if you know how to do it well. So it was really good acting of Penn Badgley to make Dan a terrible actor. Olivia looked like a lazy actor.
Yeah.
You know, like she was upset and didn't want to put anything into it. And I just kept thinking, like, imagine being one of these theater kids and it's like, wow, this movie star is doing this play here and I'm better than that. I could do that. Yeah. I like that they gave her a chance to sing too. We know you like to sing, Hillary, but they didn't even let her like.
It was really bad singing.
Yeah, it was flat, right? Yeah. It was in key, but it just had nothing behind it.
At the club, Jenny is literally right in the middle of a drug deal when she is saved by Chuck of all people. Jenny says Chuck is overreacting, but dude, he's Chuck Bass, and even Europeans must know what that means. Chuck escorts Jenny out of the club.
I loved that. I'm Chuck Bass. Even Europeans should know what that means. I love how it started. I believe his first time saying that was Poison Ivy. When they're interviewing him, why should we let you go to this school? I'm Chuck Bass. And I love how that has grown to now be an international phrase.
Yes.
That if you step foot in New York, you understand what I'm Chuck Bass means.
Dan gets to show off more of his beat poetry, and then Vance, because Olivia is nowhere to be found, Blair shoves Vanessa out on stage. She says she is a post-plastic surgery Snow White.
Yeah, that was funny.
Speaking of second Becky's.
Yes. Yeah.
At the bar, Nate and Serena are still drinking, and Nate admits that he tried to tell Serena that he loved her 2 years ago at the masquerade ball. They are about to kiss when they are interrupted by Tripp.
The Serena, you loved me? It's like instant, like sploosh.
They just like, both can't help themselves.
Yeah. It's like, somebody loves me? Dad? And then when Tripp comes in, is like, oh, am I interrupting something?
Yes,
I don't know.
You are.
Yes, you are, married congressman. Why don't you go your own way and find an age-appropriate, not intern, to go bang?
Get a hooker like every other politician.
Yeah, come on. Yeah. Fucking, yeah. How indignant he was. How offended he was that Nate was out with the teenager he wants to bang.
Yeah. In the final scene of Dan's play, Vanessa is lying asleep on the couch and everyone cheers for Dan to kiss her. He finally does so and flashes back to the kiss from the threesome. Gossip Girl ends the act with, Snow White lives, but are Dan and Olivia dead?
I feel like they accomplished what they were going for. I don't love that that's what they were going for. I would have rather seen Dan kiss Vanessa and be like, yeah, nothing. Like, no, I'm not. Mm-hmm. But to have it actually linger and there's feelings there. And again, like you said, Hillary's gone. This is the next sort of phase sort of thing. I didn't love that's the direction that they went. I thought it was well done for what they were going for.
Yeah.
I also liked that we had Pariah Dan from Constance or from the other one,
St. Jude's.
From St. Jude's, who nobody knew. And then we have this popular guy. And now Dan is further establishing his NYU kingdom.
Yeah.
As he is now impressed the Tisch School of the Arts.
Mm-hmm.
As has Blair. I like that Blair didn't need Gaga to impress them and that she did it on her own before bringing about Gaga.
They move into the epilogue. Dan and Blair are accepting congratulations from Paul, but Blair has a surprise for everyone. The lights are turned down, and Blair takes a votive candle and tells everyone to follow her. At the bar, Serena is sitting between Tripp and Nate. Tripp is telling them that he is looking at Maureen and his marriage in a different light. He then asks Serena to take a walk with him. Nate tries to hold her back, telling her that if they go together now, she's going to cross a line with a married man. Serena's response? That line just got a little blurry.
Yeah, again, Tripp making excuses to bang a teenager. Here's another piece of directing that was just blink and you miss it. When Tripp says, I don't want to be alone, Nate has this look. Nate rolls his eyes in the background. Mm-hmm. You barely see it, but it was just Nate's performance in this whole scene is just perfect reactions to everything going on.
I was rolling my eyes right there with you, Nate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because the line isn't blurry, Serena. He's a predator. Another predator. He's another predator preying on you. Yes. How many predators has she had so far? Gabriel, Aaron.
Everyone except for Dan and Nate.
Everyone except for Dan and Nate. Jesus, Serena. You have a type, and it's predatory.
Blair leads everyone back into the theater and lets Paul know that the song Poker Face is actually about Cyrus Rose. And with this proclamation, it's revealed that Lady Gaga herself is here for a private concert.
I fucking love that song. I loved her coming in and doing a Lady Gaga cameo performance. That was fantastic. I love that Poker Face is about Cyrus.
Yeah.
they were old college buddies. Yeah. I loved that. I loved this whole scene.
Yeah, a couple of notes on it. So, did you notice the guy standing behind Paul with the glasses?
No.
It looked like it could be Woody Harrelson's illegitimate son. Oh, yeah, so Lady Gaga was a big fan of Gossip Girl, and she essentially allowed them to film her dress rehearsal.
Oh, that's cool.
She had a concert the next night.
Oh, and she was like, hey, so why don't you guys come by, bring some of your people, and I'll let you film this, and I'll be on your... That's awesome.
Yeah. And as mentioned in the episode, she is alumnus of the Tisch program at NYU.
Yes, yeah, and I was pretty sure that was true, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's one of those musicians that I didn't really understand at first, and then I remember hearing Bad Romance and being like, wow, this is really well put together. And the way that she just kind of got onto my radar back then was, she's not the type of music that I listen to, but I was dating someone who basically shit on Lady Gaga and was saying about these pop stars and they can't play music and they can't write their own music and they can't play instruments. And I was started pulling out the receipts. Here's Lady Gaga playing her songs, playing acoustic versions of her song on a piano. Mm-hmm. And then her name, Lady Gaga, was named from the song Radio Gaga by Talking Heads. And I think the lady came from Lady Antebellum. It was Lady something that was inspired the first part.
Yeah, she's very much a modern David Bowie.
Yes. When that clicked for me, when I made that comparison, it really changed how I viewed her. Mm-hmm. Although her latest song, she performed something on something recently, and I was like, "Ooh, Lady Gaga." Oh no, that was Lizzo. Never mind.
That's big difference.
That's a very big difference. Lizzo was on Saturday Night Live, and we watched that episode, and I was like, "Whoa, what happened to Lizzo?" I don't know why my brain made it Lady Gaga for that second, but.
Olivia shows up and apologizes to Dan for bailing on the show, but she wanted him to kiss Vanessa again so he would realize his feelings for her. Olivia says she is going to take the witch movie and she'll be back in the fall. Vanessa also walks up and apologizes to Olivia, stating that her feelings for Dan are completely platonic, but that Paul guy wants to bone.
Olivia overreacted and left school because of a boy, which you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Vanessa was the grown-up. Vanessa came up and was like, "Look, we were stupid. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm going to go bone that guy."
Chuck is returning Jenny to the penthouse while lecturing her on the dangers of getting involved with Euro dealers.
"Ever since the first time I saw you, I knew this. You know, that time I tried to sexually assault you on a roof? Yeah. I knew you had that gumption." So maybe don't bring that up, Chuck. You've been so good this whole season and so not, let's just say, rapey this whole season. Let's not reflect back to earlier times.
Serena and Tripp are alone in his home office and they begin to snog each other.
So gross. Like, just go right. Let's just go right to work and bone. So fucking gross. I really do hope this ruins his career as a representative. I really hope this comes out.
You would hope so.
Yeah, God damn it.
Even if they were the same age and he wasn't married, it would still be inappropriate.
Yeah.
Because he's their boss.
Yes.
So it's got 3 huge glaring red flags.
Yes. Yeah, it's...
Gossip Girl begins her closing monologue with, "Sometimes it's after the curtains close that the real reckonings come." And we see Jenny text Damien that she wants to hang out again. Damien gets the text and smiles.
Really, Jenny? You want to be a drug dealer now? That's how you want to be queen? You want to deal drugs, Jenny?
Well, she's over being queen now.
Fucking idiot. So you're going to deal E? Start with pot, Jenny. Start small. Work with Chuck. He can... Like, let's not jump right to international ecstasy chain.
Yeah, she needs some excitement.
She needs some excitement.
No one's lit her stuff on fire in
over a year, yeah.
And then Gossip Girl continues. Whether it's about who we wish we were or who we wish we could be, and Nate is sitting alone at the bar.
Poor Nate.
Yeah.
You should have gotten the lay there. You put in all the work. Serena was right there for it, and then cock blocked by your cousin.
I mean, I wouldn't put it that way, but yeah.
I know. I was being sexist, and I apologize.
As we switch back to the private concert, we see Dan looking longingly at Vanessa, and Gossip Girl asks, "Or who we want?" But it's Gaga, not Gossip Girl, who closes the episode.
Yeah, and then we also see V in the background flirting with Paul again. And good for V. Go get some.
Yeah, good. And then the full quote from Gossip Girl is, "Sometimes it's after the curtains close that the real reckonings come. Whether it's about who we wish we were, or who we wish we could be, or who we want." That is our episode. What is coming next?
Dan is going to realize his feelings for Vanessa, and there's going to be another Paul-Vanessa love triangle thing that's going to end up with Dan and Vanessa banging again or doing something for a little bit. Dan and Blair both got in. I'm waiting for a Dan and Blair thing because I've said for a while now that they have chemistry, and here they had a lot of scene work together.
Mhm.
I think that could build for a while Vanessa's not available. Go for Blair, but Blair and Chuck are still kind of aces right now.
Yeah, but speaking of Chuck, what do you feel about him rescuing Jenny?
I liked the big brotherness of it. I felt he was being very big brotherly. I didn't find it to be flirty. I would hope it's not.
But again,
he does reference that first night he met her.
Yeah.
But I felt like that was I know you have this wild side.
Yeah, I feel like the writers though are, we mentioned earlier in the season Jenny was wearing the purple outfits and they had their little date to the movie premiere.
Yeah.
The writers are definitely pointing to something happening.
Yeah, I could see that. I can see that. And I could see that being the thing that splits. I mean, cheating with Jenny would be
Yikes.
Cheating with Serena is probably the only thing that would be worse. And I don't think even Chuck would do that. Because Chuck isn't Nate who's going to go for the shiny, but I do think that Jenny that I could see a Chuck Jenny thing. And man, cheating with Jenny would blow shit up.
Any other predictions?
I'm hoping there's a Nate Serena. I'm hoping that Nate gets in between this Trip Serena thing. I want the Trip thing to end. I always want Serena out of relationships. Because they're always terrible. Yeah. It's another Aaron. It's another Gabriel. So
Serena needs to be single and go to therapy.
Yes. My God, everyone on this show needs therapy, but Serena, and it really is. Again, it's the daddy issues thing. It's all of these older men that pay her any attention. She is just going to throw herself at them. Mm-hmm. And again, very well written for the character they've created, even though the character is a fucking idiot.
So let's get into some segments. This week in fandom, we jumped into the Wayback Machine to visit the fan forums from 2009.
Hello there, Peabody here. And this is the Wayback Machine for traveling through time. And this is my boy, Sherman. Speak, Sherman.
Hello.
Good boy.
Most people really like this episode.
Yeah, I'm on board. I really like this episode.
Yeah. And so fan forums, unlike the Television Without Pity, post their episode threads like a day and a half before the episode drops. So there's a lot of like the first page of the thread is all like stuff before it actually came out. So people were talking about they were anticipating Lady Gaga, so that was known. They were anticipating Kevin Sigers being on the show, who played Damien.
Oh, is he someone? Has he been in other stuff?
He's been acting since he was 6 years old.
Really, I don't recognize him.
He was in Air Bud.
I haven't seen Air Bud,
but he's guest on like every TV show ever.
Wow, yeah, I didn't recognize him.
A lot of people are excited for Dan and Vanessa. A lot of people are excited for Nate and Serena. But now we get into the actual reactions. They love the scandalous nature of Serena's storyline.
Yeah.
It is exciting.
It is an exciting scandal.
Yeah. Not enough Chuck.
Facts. He was very minimal in this episode. I think that they need to do that sometimes, though, and because they did it with Blair too. She was more minimal, and they have to do that because it does become the Chuck and Blair show way too often.
The play was cringe and not in a good way.
I mean, obviously,
I thought it was cringe in a good way.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
They did not like it.
Oh, okay. I thought it was fun.
I thought it was written to be kind of campy and cheesy.
Yeah, I thought it fulfilled what it was going for.
They love the Nate and Serena scenes.
Yeah.
And they liked how Dan and Vanessa panned out, and they excited to see Dan pine.
Okay.
Beforehand, they were worried about it was going to be a man-centered triangle where the two girls were just catty, which that did happen for a little bit. But now it's going to be it looks like it's going to be Dan pining for Vanessa.
And Dan has never really pined, has he? He's always kind of gotten...
Well, he was pining for Serena at the beginning of the series.
Yeah, but like for 5 minutes, because then by the end of the first episode, he's friends with her.
Yeah. But as we know from you, people love to see Penn Badgley pine.
From me?
And I had no memory of this being a thing, but there were multiple Chuck and Jenny shippers in the thread.
Wow.
Which I find kind of gross, but
yeah, I find
their own.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get into episode grades. You went first last time, so I'm going to go first this time. I really liked all the individual storylines. The one thing that kind of kept it from being one of those top episodes is the storylines never really pulled together at the end.
No, they did not.
They're all separate. Also, I like the season 1 callbacks, the fun directing with the quick cuts and showing how people remember things differently. And but the one thing I didn't really like was how they ended Olivia. It just kind of seemed forced because she had to leave the show. So I ended up giving it a B+.
I went A-. I think that a lot of what you said really resonates. I think that one of the biggest pieces to make it at a minus instead of an A is that they didn't bring it together in the end, like they so often do so well.
Mm-hmm.
And the Trip and Serena stuff bothers me, but on a different level, not on a like it's
fine.
Good, it's good TV.
Yeah,
it's good storytelling, even if it makes me cringe. You know. So yeah, I said A- for this one, which is the lowest grade we've given to an episode 10. They've both been solid A's from both of us.
So stock watch going up. I had Vanessa because she looks like Dan is after her now, and she also has Paul after her, and things are looking up for Vanessa. Chuck because he was a good guy, and yeah, he's building his business. Blair because she finally impressed some people at NYU. Paul because he got to see his favorite artist in a private concert. And also I gave the grandfather up because he's now off the hook for that Hudson Euro scandal.
Oh, that's a good point.
Who do you got going up?
A lot of the same. Vanessa, Blair, and Chuck all going up for basically the same reasons that you said. I had Dan going up because even though Dan loses out on Olivia, I don't think that's going to be bad for him in the long run. And Dan did get this big bump with the Tisch school that he's thinking applying to and has an in with this crowd. So I actually, because of the success of his play, gave him the bump. And then the final one that I have going up was actually not the final, but Damien. I had Damien going up for getting the new friend in Jenny, the new drug mule. I'm also going to give grandfather the up on. I'm gonna buy on recommendation of your recommendation.
So I had Dan as a neutral because he had the professional success, but the personal failure. Because I
don't
because he didn't get Vanessa. He just lost Olivia.
Yeah.
Going down, I had Olivia.
Yep.
Because she's leaving school and lost her boyfriend because of her own stupid insistence on a threesome.
Yeah. Because of her fault.
Yes. Serena going down because she's going down. Trip because
he's going down.
Nate because
he's not.
I had Nate, even though he was great for most of the episode, giving great advice. At the end, he was left alone, so he went down. Jenny going down because she's doing some shady shit now. And you gave Damien up. I gave him down because I know the episode wanted us to think he's going up, but I'm not going to give him up because he's now in with a 16-year-old girl.
Fair.
Who do you got?
Again, pretty much the same. Olivia, Serena, Trip, Nate, Jenny.
Anyone else? That's it?
No, that's it. Lily and Rufus, appropriately used for the day. Again, but they stayed neutral for me because they didn't do anything.
Yeah. So moving over to best outfit.
But here's the best outfits from the last episode we've seen.
I gave it to Blair's theater nerd get up. The black beret with the black striped belted jacket, and the comedy and drama neck band thing.
It was perfect.
And the red heels, the ruby heels, and she even broke her own rule and wore leggings as pants.
Yes, yeah.
Who did you have?
I gave it to Olivia's Snow White costume.
Yeah, the red dress.
Yeah, the red dress. It was gorgeous. She looked like she was going to prom.
Speaking of red dress, I almost gave it to Lady Gaga.
Oh, I almost did too. I think we should definitely mention the shout out to Lady Gaga in there because I almost did as well. But I kind of, the only reason I didn't was like, I don't think that was costume design by Gossip Girl. What's his name?
Eric Damon.
Eric Damon. I don't think that was Eric Damon's doing. I think that was Gaga's people doing it.
Yes.
And really, I know we've only mentioned it like once before, but to me, the outfit, I try to keep Eric Damon in mind a little bit from all the great work that he has done on this show. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted it to go to somebody from the show.
So that is it for segments. You got anything to plug this week?
I am just in a 40K rabbit hole rate lately, so nothing other than just nerd stuff that I do.
Yeah, and
but if you want to find me on my socials, it is steve.marchon, Marchion. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok. I'm also on Blue Sky at The Weed Wizard. So go ahead and find me, follow me in any of the places you want to do that.
Well, from me, if you haven't already, go watch the final season of You and then hop on Blue Sky or Threads and talk to me about it, where you can find me at Hot Capicola, HOTCAPICOLA. That's on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads. And you can follow the podcast at None Judging Breakfast Pod on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. And you can also find links to our Discord, Patreon, etc. on our website, nonjudgingbreakfastpod.com.
And if you would like to get in touch with us, we'd love to hear what you have to say. Please send us an email at nonjudgingbreakfastpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We'd love to read what you have to say here on our podcast. And we'd just love to be in touch. While you're at it and while you're listening, if you could go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and leave us a comment, because that really helps with our visibility with Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And we would love to have you also spread the word to your friends. Let people know what you're listening to, and make us the water cooler talk next week when you are all gathering at work.
And next week, we will be back to talk about Season 3, Episode 11, The Treasure of Serena Madre. The Max episode description reads, Thanksgiving on the Upper East Side means major drama.
Oh, another Thanksgiving episode.
Yep.
Excellent.
Thanksgiving is the big holiday for Gossip Girl.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, always is. So, which makes sense for a TV show because they're usually on break at Christmas, and that usually happens like right around Thanksgiving. So, not that everyone doesn't do a Christmas episode. But.
Oh, until next time, you know you love us.
XOXO. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Oh, it seems I'm walking right to your door. My heart's still resting, looking for something more. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. last night and it feels like way too long. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Come back to me. Smile and you'll make my life complete. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away or run away, you take a piece of me